Okay, welcome to an amazing tutorial from creatingtracks.com. Make sure to check out our website and our YouTube channel for some really awesome tutorials. So I'm going to get right to this. We're going to be learning about shifted snares and claps today. And what I have here is a MIDI track. And in this MIDI track, I have a drum rack. And in this drum rack, I have a bunch of samples. And this is what they sound like. So just some basic samples, nothing too fancy. And now I'm going to draw my MIDI clip over here. And in that clip, oh my god, that's such a bad color. We're going to change this. We're going to pick something more manly for this. Perfect. Now I'm going to double click on this MIDI clip. And on the left hand side here, you can see that I have my samples. And I'm going to start drawing in the MIDI notes. Not all of them, but just a few of them. Okay, so I like all of these sounds here, and I'm going to just show you what they all sound like when played together at the same time. So that's cool, but that just sounds like any other snare sample that you can find in another sample pack. But the cool part here is that you can manipulate these samples now and move them around in time a little bit so that they sound a little different, and it's going to produce some interesting results. So I'm going to take these samples and start moving them a little bit to the left and to the right. So I'm going to grab this sample and I'm going to hold Command on my keyboard and move it so that it doesn't snap it to the grid, and that way I can freely move it around like this. So here we go. Cool, so I've moved them around and now this is what they sound like. So you can already hear that it's producing some interesting results, and let's compare that to when they're quantized and all playing at the same time, which sounds like this. And here's a new one. So that's really cool. And what you can do now is, first I'm going to delete these quantized ones over here, and then I'm going to duplicate the shifted snare that I just made and duplicate it a couple of times. And once you've duplicated these, you can go into each and every snare and kind of move it around just a little bit to make it sound different from the previous one. And that way it doesn't sound too repetitive. So I'm just going to move them a little bit to the side. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And again, I'm going to randomly move them. And I'm holding the Command key so it doesn't snap to the grid. That way it can freely move around. Just one more snare and I will play and show you what it sounds like. Cool, so now all of these are randomly moved around a little bit, and here's what the first few snares sound like. I think this one right here is just starting a little bit too early, so I'm going to move it to the right. I think still a little bit more. Okay, perfect. So now what I like to do is I like to take 5 snares and not 4 and duplicate 5. That way there's not a repetitive pattern of 4 snares, which will, again, start sounding too repetitive. I also really like to add another sample that has a little bit of a tail or a release to it on every 2nd and 4th snare. And what I mean by that is, I'll just show you. Okay, I like this one, so I'm going to add this one on the second one, and then I'll add the other one over here, and then I'll add the second one again over here, and then the other one here again. Duplicate, copy these, and duplicate. And this is what it sounds like now. And that's basically it. You can use this technique in your own songs, your own samples, just move them around, try different things, and see how it helps you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely stay tuned. Until next time.